Strategy in itself does not work until you tell me who is behind it. You're only hearing about the startups that have succeeded. What about other startups that did not succeed? There are banks that have failed in this country, but banks are still succeeding.
You've worked with various institutions, NNNG, CBN, Mobile, and some of the big guys, even some SMEs as well. So from your vantage point, what strategies would you say separate successful businesses, particularly businesses that grow, steadily, and then the ones that fail?
How do you catch a rabbit?
Probably dangle food to it, what it likes eating.
Right. If I ask that question to a lion, what would the lion do? If I ask the same question to an eagle, what would the eagle do? If I ask the same question to a snake, what would the snake do? So how do you catch a rabbit? I explain.
You've worked with various institutions, NNNG, CBN, Mobile, and some of the big guys, even some SMEs as well. So from your vantage point, what strategies would you say separate successful businesses and then the ones that fail, particularly businesses that grow, steadily, and then the ones that fail? Now, for context, you've seen startups that are taking a lot of money early, promising, have some of these things that we've talked about, or still end up failing. And then you've seen some who probably do not, but still end up very successful.
Okay. So the number one thing I can say about strategy is identity. In other words, who is in the strategy? Strategy in itself does not work until you tell me who is behind it. There are banks that have failed in this country, but banks are still succeeding. You're only hearing about the startups that have succeeded. What about other startups that did not succeed? Beautiful ideas. So here's the thing. You see, let me ask you a question. Strategy.
Okay.
How do you catch a rabbit?
Probably dangle food to it, what it likes eating.
Right. If I ask that question to a lion, what would the lion do?
Eat me.
If I ask the same question, how do you catch a rabbit? I ask that question to a lion, what would the lion do?
I don't know.
The lion?
Yeah, probably give me the rabbit.
Right, get the rabbit, right. If I ask the same question to an eagle, what would the eagle do? If I ask the same question to a snake, what would the snake do? So how do you catch a rabbit? Depends on who's involved. So your uniqueness of your identity affects how a strategy is implemented. So at the very least, let me define strategy. Strategy is finding the most effective and efficient way to get results in the shortest possible time with least effort and least resources. I'm going to say it again. Strategy is finding the most effective and efficient way to get results or produce an outcome in the shortest possible time with least effort and least resources. In other words, strategy is about getting result and getting result on time at a low cost. So if someone says, I have an income of $10 million, it's not going to faze me. I'll ask you, how much did it cost you? It's possible some people spend $9.9 million to generate $10 million, which means the actual margin is $100,000. Someone can still spend $1 million and generate $9 million, $10 million, which means the cost of the generation of that $1 million is $1 million. So both of them have revenue of $10 million, but the cost is different. And the differential in the implementation of strategy is the unique set of talent or skill or insight a particular person who is implementing that strategy has at that material time. And that is also why two people can be in the same business at the same time with the same resources and they have two different outcomes. The difference is in the person's ideological framework about who or she is. See, we all live in the same land. We don't see the same land. We all live in the same world.
We don't see the same worldview.
Yes, we don't have the same worldview. Or not put it this way, we all live on the same earth, but we don't live in the same world. In the same Lagos, in the same Abuja, in the same Nigeria, there are people in this country making legit money from this country who are not fraudulent people. One of them is you. You've been there for a long time. Nairametrics is, as I was coming there today, I asked someone about, do you know Nairametrics? It's a young person, yes. I said, what do you know about them? They said they give us facts, authentic facts. It's a credible source of information, right? But there are people who can also, get into the frenzy of fact. I don't think you are much more into the breaking news as you are into the factual news. Does it make sense? Breaking news has to do who first tells the news.
Tells it right,
but
yes.
I think from my experience with following you, you're one of my sources of information, actually. When I see your name on it, Nairametrics, I consider it already verified. So you've saved me the stress
The
of
hassle
going
of
to
trying
so
to
many fact checking because you're a credible source. But that can also be tied to your kind of person. Maybe you are more of someone who has integrity at the core of who you are. And that's why there are some places, I'm sure that sometimes you have lost on a particular news because you want to make sure your facts are right.
A whole lot of times.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So it deals more with the individual ideology about who you think you are. It affects how you implement strategy. But however, on the strategy part, simply put, is finding the most effective and efficient way of getting result in the shortest possible time with least effort and least resources. But all of this process I'm talking about right now is dependent on the unique identity of the person, your worldview of what should be and what should not be. And that taps into your uniqueness. In my life, I love wisdom. In fact, my first degree in the university was philosophy. It was my dad that talked me out of philosophy and asked me to read accounting. In philosophy, I had first class. I struggled with accounting. So as a child who does no bill, when I asked him, what do you want to read as a young child? I feel philosophy. My dad said, how are you going to make money from that?
Yeah.
So he's thinking in terms of how am I going to make money? My employability, right? But I'm thinking in terms of what gives me, what makes me happy,
who you are.
What makes me, do you understand? So, but when I got into the banking, do you know I have made more money in my life through teaching that I've done through banking?
Through banking.
Because why? It taps into my philosophical angle, which taps into my essence as a man that loves wisdom. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So in Nigeria, you have to, from the angle of the uniqueness of Nigeria and their peculiar circumstances, find a way through your unique essence of how you can deliver the same product everybody does in a way that makes more sense to your person than anybody else.
Okay, so I know we're out of time, but I want to ask this. So you mentioned in your definition of strategy, in least possible cost, right? Is there a way of defining that? Is there a way of quantifying it for different businesses? How do I know what's the least possible cost? I mean, I'm trying to create this. How do I know that my strategy is developed in a way that I am achieving my objective in the least possible cost?
So there's what is called morphological analysis. Morphological analysis is to break everything into small parts.
Sort of like what Elon Musk does here.
Yes, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe something like that.
That's what I heard he does.
So you break things in small parts. It's in small parts you can know what part contributes to the bigger picture, to know where to put your energy into. So in the morphology, big problem becomes small steps. So in the number of steps it takes to solve a problem, which one of them contribute the highest value? Which one should we put more energy into? For example, I'm rebranding my value now. I'm rebranding my value. For example, I don't do training. I don't offer training. I don't offer mentorship. I don't offer coaching. I offer transformation. What I sell is transformation. But I offer them I deliver transformation through mentoring, coaching, training, and services. But my ultimate goal is transform. So when people come to me, they can't come to me in vacuum. They must come to me through a process. That process is called mentoring. It's called coaching. It's called training. But the actual issue in this whole process is
transforming the person. So if you haven't transformed that person, you haven't succeeded.
So yeah, there's so many trainings, mentorship that's not going on. But what do you look out for? Is transformation. Now watch this. Now, in this concept of being able to define an intangible, do you know how long it took me to understand that what I do is not mentoring, training, and coaching, is transformation? How do you know what I mean? Now, I know that transformation can only happen when an individual participates in his own change process. So there are assignments you must do. There are activities you must do for that change to be permanent. Because if you did not contribute to the processes that led to your outcome, it cannot sustain that outcome. So it determines who I choose as my client, as my mentee. So if 10 people are going to pay me, this person pay $10,000, this pay $50,000, this pays $100,000. And $100,000 person will not come to class, will not do the assignment. I will take the money of the $10,000 person who is going to practice what I'm going to teach, because his result will reach more people than this person that pay me $100,000 for who is not going to read or listen or do anything, because transferring that money to me does not give you the result. So if you send $100,000 to me right now, you still have not changed. So in this understanding, you find out that where I'll put my time. On the surface, it looks like this guy is a better client, but I won't have any reference point to make that this person's life has changed. But the person that has $10,000, but whatever metrics I had to find out, because I do what I call pre-mentorship class. In that pre-mentorship class, I determine the person's need for growth. And I see that you're teachable and coachable. I give you some assignment. You do it and return it back to me. And you do your IEP, Independent Educational Plan. And you come up with an idea of when you're going to start reading and studying. It shows me this person will be more better advocate for me because I don't have a business card. The only way through which people get back to me is when they see the people whose life have changed. So in this context, which one do you think is a better client for me, strategy-wise?
Yeah, the person that you transform, that shows transformation.
Yes. So when this person says, Mr. Ogo, transform my life based on these parameters, people will come to me without even to question me again.
Exactly.
They will pay already. If I tell you, well, the actual price was 100,000, it was discounted for 90%.
We've come to the end of this very amazing session, but I want you to look at the camera and speak to somebody out there. 30 seconds, just a message. What do you have to hear?
There's so many things you're looking forward to do in your life whose foundation you don't have yet. It is important that you go back and understand the foundations that leads to a result that is sustainable. There's so many noises out there. People are telling you different things, different classes, different mentorship classes. All of those things cannot happen without you having the subject knowledge of a particular areas of life you want. So take some time. The same way people go to medicine, law, engineering, they take time to learn the basics. Take time out to put yourself through the crucible of learning so that whatever outcome that comes out of that, you can sustain it. And any result that you cannot repeat, the first one was a mistake.